Today I have a very special guest with me, Emily Gower. Emily is a writer, author, speaker, and she helps people fulfill their purpose, whether it's through one-on-one mentoring or helping them write their own beautiful story. Welcome today, Emily.
Thank you, lovely.
Now, Emily, we both have spoken about business quite a bit over the years, especially through telling our story and how to actually approach business from different angles. Now, from what I see from the world right now and from doing business right now, is that there are some people that are absolutely thriving in business right now. And then there is literally people closing their doors every single day.
Absolutely.
Some of it is out of our control. Some of it, I feel, is very much in our control in a way. When we come to the way we look at things, the way we emotionally feel, mentally, our mental state, how important do you see this role when coming to planning, executing and strategizing about our businesses?
So you were talking about like how important is like the mindset and the whole perspective on it. Well, it's critical. I mean, I would say it's actually critical at any point in time, because how you perceive the world really defines how you impact the world, and because it shapes your actions, right? So some people see possibilities and they're the ones that are going to take action on them, and other people are not even seeing possibilities. So I think right now there's a really interesting divide or separation between two different types of mindset across the planet. And then there's the mindset that are in that kind of lower brain, like that limbic system, that kind of fear brain that panics, that it only sees what's right in front of them. And then there's other people who are trying to look for what you can't see physically. They're looking beyond the problem. They're looking for something greater. They're looking for the opportunity. And I guess you could explain it like one of them is looking with the senses and the other one's looking with the soul. So I find that that's happening a lot. And actually one of my mentors from many years ago rang me yesterday and he said something really profound that sums this up beautifully. He said, all the smart people seem to be doing quite well right now. And he was talking about the rarefied people who are seeing the universe differently. And he said, and then there's everybody else is looking the other way. So I think it really depends what you focus on. So I think right now it's critical. And you know what, even for those of us who do tend to see the universe as a playground, and we do tend to see it as, you know, life as an opportunity and a blessing and a gift, even for us, this is an extra test because we're actually needed perhaps more than ever. And so, I mean, last week, you know, I was definitely picking up on some of it, and I was having to readjust and going, whoa, I'm not used to this, because I, like, you know, you and like so many of us, I've never experienced anything like this. So I was probably a little bit too tuned into the social media, and I watched, because I don't look at the news, and I watched what happened to my state of mind and my body over the kind of 4 or 5 days, and it kind of like a deconstruction almost. I was like, wow, this is horrible. This is awful. And then, you know, came out of the city, stay with my partner, and it's quieter here and it's birds, and I'm like, oh, I'm back. You know, I'm back in that, you know, upright state of being. So I think right now it's absolutely critical, because you can't be productive when you're panicking. You know, that's just never going to work.
And I think it's quite interesting what you said there, Emily, is that when we're in, I mean, social media is so, it's so beautiful in one regards right now because we stay connected. But then I think we really have to be conscious on what we're absorbing through that as well, because we can so unconsciously be absorbing things that don't resonate with us.
God, yeah, absolutely. Do you know, one of the things that has helped me with this is don't scroll the news feed, because mostly it's opinions, not facts. And so you want to focus on the fact, not on the fiction, because people are going to have all kinds of emotions getting stirred up, all kinds of opinions, all kinds of perspectives on what they think their government should be doing and whatever, blah, 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 blah. We can't do anything about that. That's completely outside of our circle of control or concern, if you will. We can't do anything about it. So it's pointless. You know, you could go down a very long rabbit hole for hours and hours and hours just thinking about the coronavirus, and then all of a sudden you're like, hang on, what happened to my life? You still do have a life amongst this, and it will go on and it will continue. And so I just really reminded myself, just focus on the facts. So when I'm looking for the news, because I do want to know what is happening, I think that is wise right now, especially with so many changes to businesses and government stimulus packages, and so much is happening right now. But I think you need to choose your 2 to 3 sources and just stick with those and go where the facts are. So I look at ABC News, sometimes SBS, I find ABC News very neutral. A lot of like 7 News, 9 News, they're going like the drama side of it. Like Australians say this is worse than being a prisoner. I'm like, oh my God, guys, this is so not productive on any level, not helpful, not useful, and irrelevant, and you can't do anything about it. What's the point of talking about it, you know? So it's like, I was like, this is actually irresponsible reporting in my perception. Is like, give them the facts, because that's what will calm people down when you tell them what to do from a factual point of view. So I just look at health.gov.au, ABC, and then like Worldometer, which gives you the global numbers. And I'm pretty much just looking at those headlines. I'm not looking at anything else. I'm sometimes not even reading the entire article. I'm just going, give me the bullet points, and then I'm going to move on with my day. And I think that's really important, because you could seriously go down the rabbit hole for hours. You really could. And it's really not a useful use of energy.
No, and I think that's important, that, you know, one thing I've said to a lot of my clients over the past couple of weeks is it's really important right now to social distance from social media.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah. And to be very selective, like more than ever, where your influences are coming from, and to make sure that those are moving you forwards as opposed to dragging you down. So 100%. This is more important: mental, emotional resilience, and having our daily, like the daily practices, and having things that keep your mind upright. I think in this particular time, more important, more critical than they've ever been, because otherwise, you know, there is so much noise out there right now.
100%. And I think it's really important in all of that, because everyone has their own opinion, and to them, their opinion is so real and so right.
Absolutely.
So there's not really any wrong or right here. It's just, what do I want to let influence me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And to know that people are so fueled with so much emotions that it's a lot, I feel it's a lot easier right now to, as you said, get sucked down that rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's to come back and, you know, into that stability of self.
Yeah, absolutely. And to one of the things I found has helped is, because it felt like, I mean, especially last week, but it felt like, you know, everything changed so quick, bang, and it was like overnight. This week, not so big, not such significant big changes. It's kind of like we shifted into a new norm, and now we're kind of adjusting to that new normal. And so one of the things that helped me last week is like, oh my God, like everything just kind of got turned upside down, and I was like, did my plans get put on hold? It's like, what happened here? I was like, how am I in relation to this? And then throughout the week, my intuition was like, there's a lot of things that are still the same. So I started kind of listening, and I was like, well, this relationship is still the same, and my mom is still my mom, and my name's still Emily. You know, it's like, these are all the things that are the same. And my mind went, oh, okay, cool, I can adapt to that. And so that made it easier. So it reminds me of something actually that one of my mentors, so, you know, I studied very heavily with DeMartini. And one of the things John says is human beings can handle 10% volatility without too much reaction. So imagine you've got like stocks in the share market. If they go up 10%, okay. They go down 10%, okay. But if they go up 50% or down 50%, you're going to have some emotion. So he uses the finance as an example of that. But that's actually true in human life in general, is that right now, a lot of people having way more than 10% volatility in their life, some more than others, me probably not as much as a lot of people, because, you know, my business was already online. So there's things that didn't change, some things did. And it's just, how do we navigate that? And how do we keep ourselves balanced? And how do we keep ourselves feeling stable in times where it feels like so much is uncertain?
And I think what you said before is grabbing that stability that we know doesn't change.
Yes.
You know, I am me. I am.
Your purpose is still the same. You are still, you know, I still love to write. That didn't change. Coronavirus will never change that. It might change the content of what I write about, but that's never going to change. I still love my clients. I still love my speaking, my mentoring. I still love my man. There's so many things that have not changed, you know. I think it's really important that we focus on where the core of that meaning is, and what it is that, you know, reminds us like who we are and our true identity in the middle of this. I think it's more important than ever to be connected to that.
I think that as well comes back to a bit of a gratitude practice.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
You know, I'm grateful for the things in my life that are stable.
Yes. And, you know, hugging your body every day right now is very important. Like giving it a cuddle, giving some movement, getting connected with it, and giving gratitude just for your health, you know. And then, you know, one of the things that I keep remembering is that all of this lockdown and everything that's happening, which has created tsunamis of, you know, impact in terms of, you know, the finance, the business, the economic impact of this is dire. I mean, it's really quite an extreme circumstance. But I had to remember the whole point of this entire exercise is love, because they're trying to save the human race and trying to minimize the impact on the human race. So it's like health above wealth. So it's like a great example of that. They're putting the health first, and the wealth, it has to come second. That's just the way it is. It's kind of a nice lesson if you think about it.
Yeah, because I suppose when you come down to the core of it, wealth is so tangible. It can come and go at any moment.
Flow in and out. Yep, pretty much. Yeah. there's a lot of lessons right now about, you know, what do you hold on to and what do you not hold on to. We're having to become adaptable and flexible in ways that we've never done before.
Yeah, and I think it's forcing a lot of us to go within and reassess our values, I guess, our core values.
Absolutely. Yeah, and reconnect with that. And like I was just saying to you before, we're in a global vipassana at the moment. You know, in a lot of ways, we're being pulled apart to go deeply inward, but we're also connecting with others in a deeper way. So a lot of walls between us, I find, are coming down. I mean, even me, I'm connecting with people in ways that I haven't before. I'm, you know, more personal with my team, and even more personal with some of my clients in the conversations, and also online social media is bringing out a depth, I found, but also a depth from the inside as well. So it's happening in multiple places, multiple ways.
Yeah. So tell me, Emily, outside of, you know, the tension that we're finding in business right now, do you put an importance on your mindset just generally in business?
Yeah, for me, it's critical, like it's essential. So I would work on myself at least as much as I work on my business. So for me, that's a 50-50, because I find if I work on my business without also working on myself, then I end up like a cat running up a slide. Is like, you kind of like, I'm doing all this stuff and how come I'm not getting anywhere? But then you have a mindset shift or an emotional shift, and then suddenly something clicks or you get a new idea. So it's that whole state of mind. It's like, you know, if your mind is tuning into different places, you know, when your heart is open and you know, feel balanced or you feel grateful, you're more likely to be, you know, receive better ideas and more productive. Like, you'd be more productive and more focused and clear on who you are. And so I found like mindset work and emotional work is the best place to access that state of mind that's necessary for great business productivity, whether it's creativity or innovating a new product or whatever that might be. So for me, it's become essential. Those two are innately intertwined. And if I'm, for example, like moving forward in my business and then suddenly I'm getting emotion, like I'm putting something together and I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel right, and I'm looking for like, why is that? Constantly looking for those inroads into the emotional, like to get insight into who I am so that I can be clear about moving forward. So I find absolutely, I mean, I've done, you know, 15 plus years of really intensive self-development. So for me, it's as natural as, you know, any work that I would do in my career. It's actually even more natural for me to do emotional work. So for me, absolutely critical. I don't understand how people go through life without personal development, without emotional healing. I really don't. And I understand why people get so sick. I'm like, because you're not clearing out, like, you know, we have feedback coming 24 hours a day. We're having like, you know, it's spiritual lessons and evolution and things we need to pay attention to. And sometimes I shake my head. I'm like, I don't know how people go through life without this, because for me, it's become so essential.
What do you think that your business would be like if you didn't do the work?
I wouldn't even have a business if I didn't do the work. So I wouldn't have it, because it was because I started doing personal development that I even discovered the world of entrepreneurship and business to begin with. So literally I don't even think I would have a business. I think I would have a job of some kind, and I'd probably be insanely good at it. And I'd be, you know, I don't know, really niched into like one area by now, but I wouldn't have one. So then that's the first thing that popped in. I was like, well, I just wouldn't have one at all. But also I don't think my business would be, it certainly wouldn't be what it is, because it's only through personal development and personal growth and emotional healing that I discovered what my original gifts were, that I discovered who I am, that I'm able to so freely share my true feelings online in social media, that I'm writing, that I'm using my skills at all. So I think the two are so, I mean, the business rests so firmly on that foundation of self-growth that it literally wouldn't exist without it.
So tell me then, what was the pivotal point for you starting your business, if the personal growth was part of that journey?
Part of that, yeah. So, I mean, my story that I will often share is that I went through depression at age 19. I kind of fell through the cracks between school and life, because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. So it's like, here's your whole future. I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with that. It's like, okay, what do I do? And probably not an unfamiliar feeling for a lot of teenagers. You know, it's quite a daunting thing. So, you know, age 19, I, you know, had sort of a near suicidal moment where I just thought, I'm done. I can't do this. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of at the end of the road. And then I stepped into the work of Demartini's work very early on. So 2007 was the first time I did Breakthrough with John. And within a couple of months after really starting to dive into his work, I kind of reconnected with my love of writing, which I had somehow forgotten. And then one of my contacts called me and said, do you know you can get paid to write? I was like, I had no idea, because I was working in retail selling books, ironically, at the time. And that's when my whole business started. You know, he rang me, and he's actually passed on. So, you know, bless his soul. He's passed on now, but he took the time to go, you know, this girl, this, you know, young woman is so much more inside of her. And he rang me up and he just said, yeah, do you know, you're paid to write. And I just went, I remember the moment, it's like my mind opened. I was like, really? And I was like, really? I was like, I had no idea that it was even a possibility. And then he gave me my first job as a writer. I got published in an Entrepreneur magazine, and then he started referring clients to me, and then I was off and running. And within like a year of opening my business, age 19, age 20, as a writer, I was putting the first manuscript together for Inspired Destiny for DeMartini. So it was a really fast, you know, accelerating trajectory. It was quite an amazing journey. And then it's evolved from there, you know, from writing for people to then, you know, writing books, and then coaching people to write books, and then publishing. And then it's kind of evolved along the way from there. So yeah, there's a couple of pivotal moments, but I think that, you know, the breakthrough experience with John helped me to love and appreciate myself. And then through that new filter where I went, oh, I'm not worthless, I actually have some significance and some gifts, I then started attracting the right opportunities and people.
Beautiful. I really love that. So if for what you're going through now in business, do you think it's a lot smoother for you personally during these times than what it would have been if you didn't have the right mindset?
Yeah, definitely. So I think there's two levels, or I don't know if level is the right word, but there's two kind of main components, I think, to mindset right now, which we need to master in order to come through this and thrive. And one of them is the personal side of it. So for me, that's more about your relationship with the universe and your perceptions on life, your perceptions on yourself. But then there's your understanding around business. So there's your entrepreneur business mindset too. So for me, there's been both, and I've been working on both of those, upgrading those in the last week. And so the business mindset is about seeing the opportunities and understanding how to pivot your business in this particular time. Just that it's not that problems vanished. Problems didn't go away. Some problems are now perceiving more important than others. So if we can pivot what we do to talk to those more important problems that people are having, then you can actually ride a wave. And there's always money circulating. There's always money to be made, always people that need what you have. So the business side of it is, I think, watching great videos and getting around that, because it's very easy to go, we're screwed. Let's just shut everything down. I'm like, that is not an option. That is absolutely not an option. It's like, so how do we dance with what's actually happening right now? And then the personal side is about, you know, your relation. Like I had some questions like, well, this is interesting. And I was kind of having my conversation with the universe. And sometimes I call him Goddy. It's like having a conversation going, oh, this is intense. And I was like, do I still believe there's a God? Do I still believe there's divinity? Yes, I do. It's like, okay, great. And I had to kind of recheck against and strengthen my perceptions. Like, okay, yes, I still believe that. Where's the benefits in this? And actually a couple of friends and I started compiling a list of the blessings and opportunities that are coming through the coronavirus. And we've got 125, I think now. And we've been looking at the planet and watching the shift. So we've been doing it that side. That's really the personal side, the mindset work, to see how are you actually seeing the world right now? And then how are you then seeing your business in context of the world right now? So I think there's two main components we need to be working on right now. And I've absolutely been investing in these in the last week and a half, couple of weeks.
So can you share a couple of those perspective shifts that you had, if you remember them or have got them handy? And how
on which particular side?
On the personal side, on how you're seeing the world, like those 100 and...
Yeah, the 125. Yeah, oh, there are loads of them. So I mean, so I've been very much trained through my, you know, studies into personal development and spirituality to look for the blessing and to understand that you're never in a one-sided universe. So we're looking for all the ripple effects that have come out of this or that are emerging. So what we found is, because we were also listing the pains and the challenges. So we were looking at both sides. Yeah. So we had in the pains and the challenges, what I noticed is there's fewer, but they're more concentrated in energy. So, you know, all the deaths and, you know, hospital systems being overloaded and people going out of work. And there was like, you know, there's a smaller number of them, but they're significant stuff. But then you've got like 125 plus, and we haven't finished. We're just kind of adding to it. Every couple of days, someone will jump in and add some. And we're looking at things that are happening in the world, like, and some small, some big. But you know, the animal shelters are being cleared out right now because people want to take a pet home because now they're at home. It's like, oh, that's so beautiful, right? So we're looking, I've got goosebumps. There's like little things like that that are actually really significant. So some through this, problems that we had before are actually being solved. Like elderly people and young people are coming together right now. I just applied for a program where you can adopt a grandparent in the UK.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it was so beautiful, right? I was like, oh my God, I want to be part of this. I didn't have grandparents, or I had grandparents, but I never met them. And so I was like, oh, this is amazing. So it's bringing the appreciation for the elderly is going up, especially because of all the elderly deaths kind of in Italy. You know, that's happening right now. We're looking at, there's years of innovation in business happening in a matter of days right now. We're looking at, you know, neighborhoods connecting, and people leaving out food on, you know, tables, saying just take what you need. And, you know, people are being one woman shared a story about her 15-year-old daughter who got fired from her job at Lush, like the soap store. The staff got, because, you know, she was casual, so she took home some soap because they gave it to her, and then she cut it up into small pieces, wrapped it in packages, gave it to her neighbors. You know, there's so many acts of generosity happening right now. We're looking at businesses that have been, a couple of my friends have said, you know, in the last week or so, they're like, I've been threatening to take my business online for like 3 years, and now I have to. So I'm kind of sitting here giggling, going, this is awesome. And so we've been watching what's happening on the planet and seeing massive innovation, massive growth, millions of entrepreneurs in hiding are now sitting at home with time on their hands and the internet in front of them, and they've got time to think about world problems. You watch what businesses will come out the other side of this. This is a massive slingshot from the universe, pulling us right back. We are going to have so many upgrades. It's already happening so quickly right now. So we're just watching what's happening, and the ozone layer is healing. There's animals returning to the canal. Mother Earth is getting a chance to breathe. So in a funny way, coronavirus is kind of killing off humanity, but also simultaneously saving the future generations because it's better for the environment. So we're just watching the dynamics. So it's not like, oh, the world is coming to an end. We don't have that perspective. You know, it's close. There's
always a duality.
There's always a duality, and it's actually not that we're being destroyed. We're being re-guided to something new, which I feel a lot of people are tuning in on that. And that transformation always has destruction, no matter what level that's at. Just right now, it's on a large level. So it's just been very interesting, and I think that has helped. Doing that list has helped a lot of us to see the other side, and to just dance with what's happening, and to do that as much as we possibly can. And, you know, I've also been tracking the personal both sides from a personal level as well. Just looking at the things like, I posted on social media, said I was like, literally like about 4 weeks ago, before the coronavirus had really hit Australia, I said to my mom and my partner in 2 different conversations in the same week, I said to my mum, I'd really like to develop our relationship outside of work, because we talk about work a lot. And then I said to my partner, babe, we don't get enough like undisturbed time together. Like, it's just, and then bang, universe. Yeah, careful what you wish for. It's like the universe works in funny ways, because a couple of weeks later we're under the same roof. It's like, look at that. So I was like, well played, universe, well played. So I've been looking at also some of my personal intentions that I had before the coronavirus appeared, that are now being accelerated purely because of the dynamic that we're in with the coronavirus right now. So I'm looking at it from, as much as I can, a dynamic of love and understanding, you know, what is happening right now. And it's quite amazing watching people, you know, band together towards a big cause, because globally we're doing this. So I'm just watching it as much as I can. And that is helping me on a personal level and also on a professional level to know, where can I be of service? What content can I produce? How can I serve my clients right now? What do people need? And so just by looking at both sides of it, I think that's helped all of us actually immensely.
Yeah. And I think like talking to a lot of people in the last week has definitely been my highlight for me, because, as you know, we're talking about slingshotting before.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that's like my personal slingshot, is like, I'd never thought about doing, you know, interviews or anything like that.
And here you are doing it, right?
And here I am doing it, but it's not only that, like, I'm finding it so personally fulfilling.
Yes.
Like, I know it'll definitely help my audience, but just for myself, connecting with such beautiful, like-minded people like yourself, and having these deep discussions about, you know, purpose, and, you know, finding the gift and finding the sunlight through all the clouds is so personally rewarding for me on that level.
It's interesting. There's a lot of meaningful work that's coming out of this. And, you know, just a week and a half ago, I launched out a global inspiration project via a Facebook group. We have more than 600 members from around the world. People are contributing, doing live meditations together, putting in recipes, doing little cooking videos, qigong. It's amazing. So we're creating like global community, and that's something that I'd been sitting on for maybe 4 years. So I can, you know, I can relate to that on a lot of levels. I'm like, this is quite amazing. What's happening. I'm actually closer to people than ever. I'm actually less isolated in isolation than I was before. I was actually more isolated before.
Yeah. And I thought it was quite interesting, because, you know, that especially on social media at the moment, there's like, you know, introverts connect with your extrovert friends.
Right.
I'm such an introvert, and I'm absolutely loving being at home now. There's nowhere to go. You can't go anywhere. And just deeply not only connecting with self, but with my family.
Absolutely.
And I think it's that deep connection with self that helps us, is going to catapult us out of what we're in now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we need this. And I was thinking the other night, because Michael and my mom and I, we were standing out on his back garden, because we're sort of, you know, south of the city, and you can see the stars here. You can't see them in the city.
Yeah.
You know, too much light. And we're just watching the stars, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, like humanity is being reduced back to really core values, you know, as a collective, you know, family, health, the importance of financial wealth as well, because that's absolutely being tested at the moment. Nature, things like an appreciation for planet Earth. I'm like, wow, isn't that interesting that as in order for us to progress, we need to remember what truly matters, and this is what's happening.
Yeah, it's like
It's
coming back.
it's a big collective lesson, huge collective lesson.
Yeah, I love that. So I guess we want to finish off today. 3 tips for business owners right now to help them move their business forward, to help them pivot, to help them get through to the other end as best as they possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one I would say is focus on the future. So right now there's a lot of focus on the immediate future, and there's a lot of focus on right now future. So it's, you know, let's call the immediate future the next 3 to 6 months, right? Yeah. There's a lot of focus on that. And if we only focus on that, it's going to be harder for us to see the way through. So when I say focus on the future, I mean, picture your business in 5 years from now, and keep working towards that, and just adapt to the current circumstance. You might find out that actually it's giving you an opportunity right now to advance towards that. Certain goals can be accelerated. So I would be focusing first and foremost on what's beyond this. So for me, I laughed. I went, because I'm running paid Facebook ads. It's been something I've been wanting to do in my business for about 7 months. And I've been holding back and sitting around, and now I'm doing ads and getting not converted leads into a paid, but converted into like a registration on an email list for 51 cents a piece. I'm like, oh my God. So it's actually accelerating certain things and making me focus on the future of my business, which is much more 100% in that training space, mentoring space, which is what I just love that. That's my jam. It's what I love the most. So focusing on the future and then using this as a springboard towards that. So try not to just focus on what's right in front of you, focus on where you're going. Because like I said, your purpose in life doesn't change. It might evolve a little bit as you go, and the expression of that will change. But who you are, that's the unmoving part of you. It's the core. It's that there's a stillness in that is always there no matter what is happening on the planet. Your true identity, your destiny here is actually the same. It may just change expression. So staying really connected to that, and remembering, like, if you're a writer, you're still a writer. You know, if you're a speaker, you're still a speaker. It's like you're still going to do that. You're just adapting right now to a different circumstance. So focus on the future beyond it would be my first thing, because we will get through this as a planet. Different countries at different speeds. Some are in trouble right now for sure. Some of them are handling it better right now, but we will come through this eventually. Going to be interesting. So focus on what's beyond this and where you want to go. The second one is absolutely have to keep filling your own cup. So that means, you know, increasing self-care, increasing daily practice. So, you know, we're doing like Qigong in the morning. I'm kind of blessed. I got like an in-house chef and an in-house Qigong trainer. It's awesome. Zen yoga. It's like pretty blessed right now. But doing that in the morning, eating well, taking that time for meditation, that introspection, that time for journaling, you know, things that really fill your cup, whatever they are. You know, yes, you're going to need to do them at home, whatever, but I'm sure that we all have at least a few practices we could do. So I find that that's more important than ever, to keep connected to that stillness within us and to keep your body nourished. You know, like I'm taking Ayurvedic herbs and increasing doses of vitamin C and doing the things that really take care of you. And I think the third one is to remember that now is an amazing time in business to plant seeds for future harvest. So some people are going, oh, I can't sell right now. And I'm like, yes, you can. It's first of all, yes, you can. If you talk to the right needs and you care enough about your customers to offer something right now, you absolutely can sell an offer, because actually people still need you. But now is an amazing time to plant seeds for future customers as well. So that means doing what a lot of marketing coaches actually train us to do, but we probably don't do enough of, which is to focus on adding value, building new relationships. All conversions come from trust, people knowing, liking, and trusting you. So show up in a bigger way on your social media, be more personal, put out more content, talk to your email list more, put out free webinars, go and add tons of value, because it's going to plant seeds so that as this passes and the economies start to kind of recover, and there's a little bit more of a wave and people are spending more freely or investing more freely again, that you're going to have so many leads, so many potential customers, so many contacts, so many fans, you won't know what to do with yourself, because there'll be so many of them. Yeah,
you're already converting them from that cold to the warm. So once once we're all out of this, they're so hot and
absolutely. So I think having that perspective, but then also working out what you can offer and how you can adapt your offer in the immediate. I think those are the two most important things you can be doing in business. But yeah, right now, planting seeds, do a 6-month long marketing campaign. You know, I think we think way too short term in terms of business and marketing. This is forcing us to think bigger, and it's forcing us to be more connected to our marketplace. And these are principles of marketing that we all need to master, not just amidst the coronavirus, but generally. So if we master this, imagine if you had, you know, your marketing running so well and you're so much value going out that you just constantly had leads coming in, you're constantly serving your favorite clients. You know, that's the dream situation for most businesses, and now we have the opportunity to create it. So focus on planting seeds for future harvest.
Love it. I really love that.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Emily.
You're welcome.
I always love chatting to you, babe.
Ditto.
So we'll have this up in a couple of days and share the message with the world.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you so much. And thank you for what you're doing as well. I mean, the world really does need it. And it's a beautiful hearts like yours that make all the difference. So I'm grateful for it.
Thanks, hon.
You're welcome.